G'day everyone and welcome to Sci-Fi Weekly. After 100 years, Albert Einstein has been proven right. For the first time, scientists have observed ripples in the fabric of space-time called gravitational waves. Arriving at the Earth from a cataclysmic event in the distant universe, this confirms a major part of Einstein's general theory of relativity and opens an unprecedented new window onto the universe. Based on the observed signals, LIGO scientists estimate that the black holes for this event were about 29 and 36 times the mass of the Sun, and the event took place 1.3 billion years ago. About 3 times the mass of the Sun was converted into gravitational waves in a fraction of a second. By looking at the time of arrival of the signals, the detector in Livingston recorded the event 7 milliseconds before the detector in Hanford. Scientists can say that the source was located in the southern hemisphere. The new LIGO discovery is the first observation of gravitational waves themselves, made by measuring tiny disturbances the waves make to space and time as they pass through the Earth. A very exciting discovery, and Australian scientists contributed to the work, many of them at the Australian International Gravitational Research Centre in Gingin, north of Perth. Meantime, CBS has confirmed it's signed an executive producer for the new Star Trek TV series. Joining me from 1701news.com is Editor-in-Chief Michael Hinman. Michael, finally some happy news coming out of Star Trek this week with the announcement of Bryan Fuller as executive producer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's happy. It just depends on your perspective, I think. My only concern is, that he's always had trouble, attracting audiences and connecting with audiences, and is that going to happen with Star Trek, too? Will it be too far ahead of its time? That's probably the bigger question. It's not that Bryan Fuller doesn't do great work. He does, but every single time that he's tried to put together something, it's always been, I think sometimes it's too far beyond the general audience's grasp of things. But maybe Star Trek is different because we have an audience built in that's used to, reaching forward a little bit and not afraid to try new things and hopefully try to discover new concepts all along the way.
And Michael, another of the EPs that's been signed on but hasn't received a lot of press is Heather Caden. What's her background?
From what I understand, that she was with Warner Brothers way back, Warner Brothers Television, and found her way with J.J. Abrams, Alex Kurtzman, and those people, for Alias and then some of their future programs like Fringe and others. So she's actually been one of those people that she's more on the business side, I think, than the creative side. But when you look at the success that they've had, with K&O Paper Products, which is the shingle that Alex Kurtzman and Roberta Orsai uses, they've had a lot of success on television. And I think that even if it's not directly from a creative standpoint, at least from that very important business standpoint, I think that she's definitely a key player in this, and probably one that gets overlooked a little bit because everybody's talking about Alex Kurtzman and Bryan Fuller, which they should be. Those are the creative people, but really, I mean, the guts of any good production is having the great business people behind the scenes.
Some sad revelations from William Shatner in his new book, Leonard, My 50-Year Friendship with a Remarkable Man. What happened between the pair?
I haven't read the book. I've only read excerpts from it. I don't know if I know the book was released in some place. I'm not even sure if it's been released on wide release yet. But it seems that several years ago that there was kind of a falling out between the two, and those kind of things happen even between closest friends. I mean, I can tell you even some of my best friends, we've had ups and downs. It's just the way it is. And unfortunately, life gets to a point where it's too short, and there might not be enough time to rectify that. So.
And finally, Michael, Trek fan films have been in the headlines a bit recently, but Tommy Kraft has managed to achieve something that I've been dreaming of for the better part of a decade, producing his own fan film pretty much by himself.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a one-man operation that he was doing with Star Trek Horizon, and I'm not even a fan film person. I mean, I'm one of those people that, when some of this other stuff had been going on, some of the negative stuff, I wasn't even aware of most of it until, it turned negative because I'm not a big follower of fan films. But in the midst of all this, in the midst of discussing the lawsuits and everything else that's been going on, this production kind of was just under the radar, and somebody had showed me a link to a trailer for it, and I was blown away by it, especially when I found out that he was making it for less than $50,000 US. I mean, That's pretty remarkable.
Well, yeah, Tommy spoke with me for an upcoming Trek Zone Spotlight, and he told me about the plot.
The crew of the NX-04 Discovery, which is our main ship, has been tasked with bringing back a Romulan defector. And so the movie starts with them bringing her back, and then as the movie goes on, they learn from her, and they get a mission from her, basically, to aid in their fight against the Romulans. And so that takes us all sorts of cool places and interesting things with the storyline.
But we have done the work and we are ready. I couldn't be more proud to be serving with you.
Michael, thanks for joining me. We'll keep up with all the latest Trek-related news at 1701news.com. The archives at TrekZone.org have been building since 2013, and throughout January I've shown you some of the older interviews. This week, though, I thought I'd share with you something from last year, my chat with Dominic Keating, who was in town for Oz Comic Con Perth. Today's guest character was the tactical officer on the Enterprise NX-01. Of course, that was Lieutenant Malcolm Reed.
Actually, I wasn't the tactical officer, I was the armory officer.
Oh, well, excuse me, I do apologise.
Nah,
So
you don't often get
officer.
a cast member from the shows being as anal about the stuff as the fans are.
Of course, his real name is Dominic Keating. Thanks so much for joining me, mate, from
My
Perth.
pleasure. Good to be here.
Now, joining the Star Trek franchise, what was that like for you?
Oh, heavens. You know, just a dream come true, really. I'd been in LA about 7 years and had some success. I hadn't had to wait any tables, thank goodness. But getting that gig was, you know, it all kind of worked out. And friends asked me at the time, you know, were you really excited about joining the cast? I said, you know what, I was just relieved that it did work out. But I remember I did the first, here's a little known fact, I did the first shot of our show, and as I took, it was on the bridge, and as I took that first step up onto the bridge to do the shot, I have to say I did pinch myself and go, you know, here we go, lift off. You know, it's an
It would be
iconic
absolutely
show.
surreal.
It was surreal, and I also had the pleasure and the honour of doing the last shot of the show. It's one of those odd anomalies of having done that those 4 years and 100 episodes. So
That's amazing. Now, I believe that, just tracking back a little bit, I believe that you did audition for a guest role on Voyager.
you've done your homework. Yeah, I did.
Lots of homework, days in advance.
I did. I went up for, and I can't remember what the character's name was, but he was the prince of some sort of nomadic tribe, you know, space tribe. And the audition went so swimmingly well. I remember calling my manager going, you know, we're going to do Star Trek next week for sure. And then I never heard from them again. And, you know, I was like, God, what have you got to do to get a job in this town? And then some 18 months later, the same manager, I still had JP, still my guy, and he rang me and he said, I just got a call from Ron Surma, who's the casting director on Star Trek, and they think they have something for you. And I was like, really? Okay. And then right at the end of the first season, we were shooting Shuttle Pod 1, and they were also concurrently shooting Nemesis, the next-gen movie next door, on the stages next door to where we were shooting Enterprise. And Rick Berman was around, and he never came to set. And anyway, he was with Patrick Stewart, and he was showing the shooting of our show, and it was this two-hander, as you know, that Shuttle Pod 1 piece, and they were very proud of it. And in an aside to me, in between setups, he said to me, he said, Dominic, you know, I remembered you so well from that Voyager audition, and I had your photograph on my desk for like 18 months, and I was like, what? Yeah, have you any idea what those 18 months were like, Mr. Berman? And, but hey, God bless, the rest is history, yeah.
You can watch the interview in full at spotlight.trekzone.org, as well as all the other in-depth chats with SciFi alumni I've had. Hundreds of thousands of people have already downloaded Star Trek Wrath of Gems, and now they're giving fans the chance to become a character on the game. No purchase is necessary, just go to the official giveaway page for details on how to enter. The competition is running until Feb 28th. I've been playing this game for the last couple of days and it's pretty fun. There are some continuity errors, however, like Worf at the con and the uniforms worn by the characters given the date of the game. Also, there are some pretty stunning grammatical mistakes, but overall, it's some good escapism for those long commutes or downtime cheering or after work. And finally, TrekZone.org will be celebrating 50 years of Star Trek in a big way. I'll have TrekZone live coverage at Oz Comic Con in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, and I'm also working on producing a very special tribute video as well. Keep up to date on the website for all those details as they happen. My chat with Tommy Kraft will be up on the TrekZone Spotlight very soon. It's an absolutely awesome product, Star Trek Horizon, and I can't wait to see it in full. Well, that is Sci-Fi Weekly for this week. I'm Matt Miller. Get in touch with me on all of these social media channels and say g'day. I'd love to have a chat. But for now, thanks for watching.